Okay, poly reduction. So what's going to happen here is I have this form and I want to take it to the next level. I want to mesh smooth it. Okay, leaving me with this high poly object. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to selectively go in here and choose edges that I don't need that go all the way around. They must be edges that go all the way around. I'm never going to delete an edge that does not go all the way around. So complete edge loops. And here's a way to see this. If I double click this edge, it doesn't go all the way around. This supports a form. You can't delete that one. You can delete this one, and this one, however. Control right click to edge loop, and delete. Okay. So not a bad form right there. It's actually really nice. Just getting rid of some polys. Okay, so in here, what do I need and what do I don't need? I don't need these anymore, these supporting forms. I used them to get the shape, and that was it. So I don't need them anymore. Okay. There we go. Those are out of there. And I would say this one and this one can be out. And I kind of like how round this is, so I might leave those edge loops in there. And I like how tailored that is also. Okay, another thing is this actually, and you can see, I can't tell that I deleted any of those. Now this thing really does, it's kind of like very low detailed. It doesn't match the top. I'm going to add a little bit more detail in here, and I'm going to reduce it. So okay, and I'm just using 3 on the keyboard to kind of see what that looks like. These are pretty round, and what I really want to do is have a square there. Okay, so how I do that is I go to Edge and highlight all the edges, this edge, and this edge. And what happens is if I try to do it, well, let's take it a different way. If I take these faces and extrude them out, okay, and then take these faces and extrude them out, okay, and then take all these faces on both other sides and extrude them out, you're going to see something. This is countering an edge loop. So I have an edge loop that goes all the way around this thing, and it's always going to be round until I start doing this process. And you only have to do this to one side because the other side you can just mirror in X and Y. Just like that. Okay, so let's see what happens when I hit 3 on the keyboard. See? Nice, right? Okay, let's strengthen up some of these forms. Let's take an edge loop and put it here and here. When I hit 3, I'm going to get a sharper edge there. This one, I'm going to put one there. I'm going to strengthen up that form. And then I'm just going to mess around in 3 a little bit with the idea that all this is, you can take it and do stuff like this, and you can create a lot of detail just with what you have. And I'm not worried about too much detail because I can always take detail out after I smooth it. Okay, let's put this one in there and see what that looks like next to it. Not bad. And the rest could be done with texture. So the idea here is first mirror it. DV on the keyboard, get this centered. Mirror cut it. And I think the mirror cut should match up again. Nope. Okay, so this gives me the opportunity to show you this problem that exists in Maya. It is the problem of positive versus negative. So in this case, I need to flip this around. Okay. Modify freeze transformations, and I freeze transformation on everything. And then when I mirror cut it, it mirror cuts the correct one. Okay, again, duplicating it, bringing it over, getting rid of this one because it has history behind it. Let's mesh smooth this and then poly reduce it. Now I could probably get away with poly reducing the top part and then mirroring it again. So you're gonna use that mirror trick. It helps you immensely. So again, I don't need any of these edge loops. And I need about 20% less edge loops in this area. Nowadays, you'll find that most assets in games aren't, they got a pretty good number of polygons. I'm surprised they're getting right up there in polygon counts. Now, this coming from a guy that has come from an age that has seen 100, 200, 300 polygon limits. Okay, so let's see, mirror cut, and then again you can see that the bottom is now matching the top with the new edge count. So that's my workflow for polygon reduction. The rest I'll leave in there because if I take this into ZBrush, I'm going to find that having those in there, I'm able to sculpt in those areas. This is kind of uniformed. In fact, I would almost insert some more edges in there, and that way in ZBrush I can texture those out very easy. DV on the keyboard allows you to center pivot on this, and I can duplicate, whoops, Control Z. I can edit, duplicate with transform, rotate it 90 degrees in Y, and then G on the keyboard will do it 2 more times. Now you're looking at these shortcuts that you can do. Mesh combine these, duplicate them, bring them up, negative on the Y allows me to do this. Okay, and there we go. We got a cool column. Okay, and what I usually do is I'll combine the entire thing because when I go to texture it anyway, I can do shells. Keep in mind, this is where you usually do the texturing process before you bring in the game asset. So, and don't forget, we're not doing the texture part. So at this point, I'm done. All right, enjoy and move on to the next video where we import this in. So I would save it. And I'm just saving this as a separate scene. I'm calling this pillar example. In the next video, we'll import it into the other level.